The third silo of who you can hire when you're considering bringing on that first person, maybe a second person, would be your administrative person. Now, this person's job is to be in the office. It's not to be in the field helping you with your inspections and your walkthroughs. It's not to be showing clients properties or showing up at showings and listing appointments and things like that. Their job is to be an admin person. You're in at 9, you're out at 5. Now, again, I go back to compensation. Well, I can't really afford that person, but I certainly would love somebody to do my paperwork, to do the busy items. Yes, you should have that person. But compensation can also work the same as it does with your success in the field, because it's a beautiful thing to when you outline roles and responsibilities for an admin person, and every time something happens in terms of a new client, a new deal, everything is just taken care of. There's no guesswork. They take care of all the listing things. They take care of all the buyer stuff with contracts. Their role, their job is to be in the office, pushing paper and helping with moving things along so you don't have to worry about it. Your only job is to bring in more business. So when it comes to comping an admin, if you have the means to comp an hourly or a salary, great. If you don't and it needs to be lower, have them participate in your wins, just like we had the field agent participate in your wins. It's a great way to get somebody off the ground as an administrative person. Now, what do their roles and responsibilities look like? What I would tell you is this part is where you have more checklist items than any of the field agent or the buyer representative, because every time something happens, they need to be responsible for certain tasks. So for example, you go out and you sign a new listing. Congratulations, that's great. The minute I sign a new listing, admin person, this is your role. Checklist 1, checklist 2, checklist 3, checklist 4, checklist 5. I want you to I want you to make an initial call to the client and introduce themselves as the person that will be assisting me behind the scenes. If there's anything that they need, anything that they want, so guess what? There's an initial call. And then you got to build a script. What is going to be their script for that initial call? They're going to outline expectations to the client. They're going to let them know everything that they're responsible for. Great. Next step, order photos and tours. Next step, order for sale sign. Next step, prep the MLS. Next step, post on social media. Next step. So we're creating what we need to do. Every time I get a listing, I need you to go and do these things one by one by one. And guess what? They're going to master it. They're going to become so good at inputting listings. I want you to upload my broker file to SkySlope or Dotloop or whatever you use. Great. They're going to become a master at that. So they're going to become a master at what I consider the front end. And I always want to segment front end to back end. Front end is anything pre-contract. Back end is anything after contract. So when you separate those two, front end, back end means I don't have a contract yet. So that means they're going to be assisting you with more listing stuff. Once a contract comes in, they're going to handle all that stuff. They're going to make sure title gets the file. They're going to make sure the lender gets the file. They're going to order inspections. They're going to do everything after the contract that needs to be done. They're going to upload documents to the file. They're going to supply title with commission instructions. They're going to do everything, but that's back end. Now, the reason I want you to separate this up front end versus back end, at some point, you're going to get busy enough to where someone only works on the front and someone only works on the back, and they don't do both, they don't cross. So someone can become a master of the back end, someone can become a master of the front end. That's why I want to separate them initially, where that one person can handle both sides, but at some point when you get busy enough, one person's going to focus their efforts here and become a machine, the other person's going to focus their efforts here and become a machine. What they can also do things like assist your teammates, your team members as part of culture and being part of my team. You get a full admin person. They'll take care of the front end, they'll take care of the back end, but the items don't change. You can't have one person doing something for one person and then it's totally different for the other and it's different for you. That's chaos. You cannot build streamlined efficiencies with having people constantly be doing different things. Whatever they do, they stick to it and it doesn't change no matter who it is. So, consider an admin. Can it be a transaction coordinator? Yes, but I believe an admin serves as both. Admin to the files, but not what you would consider just a transaction coordinator. They will be the transaction coordinator, but they have other roles and responsibilities too. The key component is writing down what you want them to do and making sure that that process and workflow is consistent. And they just do the same thing every single time, both front end and back end. An admin person will become necessary for you. And it's a great feeling to know that the minute that I get to this point, I sign a listing or I go into contract, I don't have to worry about anything else. The only thing I have to worry about is maybe negotiating the inspection repair items and making sure this gets to the closing table. I just go back out there and work. I just go back out there and bring in more business. That's the admin role. That's the 3 most important roles that you can hire. And don't let them cross. Pick which one you want to start with that's most important to you. Field agent, buyer representative, and admin person. Those are the 3 roles to consider. Just make sure you put together what you want them to be doing so it's strategic. 1, 2, and 3. If you do that, guys, I'm telling you, you will leverage your time in ways you never thought possible, but it's going to free up so much time for you to do what you're supposed to do, and that's close as much business as humanly possible. That's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. So consider what I talked about, see who and where you want to start with to plug in, and try it. I guarantee it, you'll never look back. I was nervous too. I really was. I was nervous hiring my first person. The first person I hired an assistant. I hired an in-office person because I was doing a decent amount of transactions. And then as I started to get referrals from them, then I hired my agent representative, and then from there I hired my field agent. That was the route that I chose to go. So pick the one that's best for you and go conquer it. Thanks, guys.